This is everything that I think about during a game while it's happening. I'm going to do a lot of pausing and taking time to explain things when it happens in the game as best as I can. Although there are some problems with that, and we'll get there as we get there. So first thing I do is I buy my potions and items and my trinket, and now I'm looking at the tab. Now there's a lot of information I look here. Sometimes I do this in loading screen, but first thing I look at is everybody keystones and secondary runes. I mostly note the ones that are weird in my head. So there's I have a collection of what a normal rune page looks like on all of the champs, and I compare that knowledge to what I see on my screen. In this game specifically, everything is actually very normal. The only weird thing is that I have Malphite jungle, but PTA is actually pretty normal on Malphite jungle. And against Davemon specifically, he always goes his Pike rune page. And then the only other thing that's slightly weird is that Hui has Airy instead of Comet, but it doesn't really matter. So for the entire duration of this game, I'm not really thinking about keystones. I'm just assuming that they're going to have the keystone that I expect them to have. The next thing I look at is summoner spells. But again, this is actually a pretty easy one. Everyone has pretty much exactly the summoner spell I would expect them to have. And the last thing I look at, or not the last thing I look at, but the last thing I look at before I keep going is I look at IGNs. Now, this isn't really applicable to a lot of people, but in challenger lobbies, I look at the IGNs to see who's playing where, who's auto-filled, who do I have to worry about. I'm not going to go into exactly the conclusions I draw because it's sort of complicated, but the main things that are relevant this game is I recognize my Ashe, my Malphite, their Pike, their Renekton, their Hui, and their Lulu. And I know that Davemon is playing Pike, and I know he's good at Pike. And I know that APA is an LCS player, and he actually takes solo queue seriously, so I'm expecting him to be relatively reasonable. There's probably other stuff, but mostly it isn't relevant to say here. So I thought I was against Hui. I'm going to be real. You can hear that I think I was against Hui. That's because I wasn't paying attention in Champ Select. But my runes are actually still correct, so it's fine. Okay, we'll do this later. It isn't that mattering, so I don't talk about it again. The reason that I'm spamming tabs so frequently here,
Fuck, do I have to?
There's a couple things. The first reason I'm spamming tab is I'm looking at each time I press tab, I usually have a different objective in mind. I can't tell you for every single tab what the objective is, but what I can tell you is what are the things I'm thinking about. So when I was in base, I was thinking about runes, summoner spells, names. Now I'm thinking about lane matchups. Where are junglers going to path? What do team fights look like? Another big thing I'm going to be thinking about at this point is on a lot of my champions, there are items that are non-negotiable. And then there's at some point could be an item that is, I'm not sure what I'm going to build. But in this game, I figured out pretty quickly that I'm definitely building Seekers third after Roa and Seraphs because it's very good against our whole team. Nocturne ulti can be stopped with Seekers, and a lot of what Nocturne wants to do is stop with Seekers. Pike ult can be blocked with Seekers or even his E. Hui is actually quite a lot of his damage is tied to his ult, and you can Zhonya's a lot of it. So Seekers is a no-brainer here. I also think about boots, and I think in this exact game I didn't think that much about boots, but I would have thought it was either Ionians or Mercs. We'll see what happens.
Katarina, I forgot.
I'm just talking about pregame stuff, so here it doesn't really matter.
Is he streaming?
Another thing I'm thinking about is should I ward level 1?
I don't know
again, all these tabs, I'm going into the
Pike.
process of figuring out what are the lane matchups, how do things supposed to play out.
I'm pretty short range.
To explain my thoughts on
I've
the
been in
lanes,
most games with you
if
out
I
of
press
anyone on
tab
my
again.
meeting.
My understanding of top lane matchup is not super good. I actually don't know who wins this matchup. I think in the game Yorick wins, but he might just be a better player. I'm not really sure. Mid lane matchup is the one I'm most concerned with. I'll do that last. Bot lane matchup, it's Ashe and Enchanter versus Lulu Hui. I mean, Lulu Hui just has to be bad in losing, in my opinion. It just has to be. But they're very susceptible to pike roams and nocturne ulti. So we have to be careful, and they have to be careful, especially about if a pike ever has a roam timer or when nocturne's level 6, to be careful. Otherwise, they should just basically always have push, I assume. Ash is going to rush breeds too. And they're going to have to play very respectfully bot lane on the enemy team. Mid lane matchup. I think I'm about to talk about it.
Swag.
But I'm not sure how bad this lane is for Pyke. It ends up really bad. But Pyke, Ryze is short range, so it's not that hard to land hook on him when you're trading. Whenever Ryze is hitting Pyke, he will be in threat range. But Ryze gets tanky really quickly.
Me and Red have 380.
So Pyke will run out of damage very quickly, and Ryze never runs out of damage, especially when people don't build mercs, which Pyke does not do. So right before lane starts, I'm going to talk about how do I want to play out this lane. So I talked about them versus Davemon. Davemon is a Pyke main. He plays a lot of the champs, but he's very good at Pyke. And my opinion of Davemon is that he over respects trades. He doesn't trade CS for, he doesn't trade HP for CS enough, and this results in him losing a lot of HP, or excuse me, a lot of CS, and going down a lot of CS. So because that is my opinion of him, my game plan is to try to deny him as much CS as possible. The way to deny him as much CS as possible, in my opinion, is I want to keep the lane phase going as long as possible. And I want to always be slow pushing to disincentivize him from recalling. Now, why that's the best is going to be too complicated, but that's my plan. Additionally, Ryze can start W, E, or Q, sometimes even. In this game, I decide to go for W, and the reason I go for W is I want to be mana efficient with my spells. If I start with E, it costs less mana, it does basically the same damage, but I never really want to be spamming it. So I go W instead because it allows me to follow up with autos easier, and it slows Pyke down in case he wants to do something. And because I'm not going to be spamming E, there isn't really a cost to having the long cooldown W. Another thing I'm looking at is where my jungler is starting. And I see he's starting blue, so he's going to be pathing down. Now, one of the things I do, I'm going to go back actually. One of the things I do is you'll see I keep hitting this one creep. The reason I'm hitting one creep is I want to last hit all the melee creeps without having to use any of my spells. The creeps are hard-coded to each hit a different melee creep so that none of the creeps, basically so that weird things don't happen. It bugs sometimes, and in this game it actually does bug. So you'll see that I'm spam hitting one creep, and this other creep that I have my mouse on dies first. So that's just unlucky. I don't end up losing a creep, but it just sucks. There, Pyke is going for the creep. Every time I hit him, I'm going to run out of creep range because the creeps will do a lot of damage to me and trade back pretty well if I just stand in their range. So every time I W him or auto him, I want to drop creep aggro at level 1. So there I get the creep, the last hit, and then I run out of creep aggro. And then once my creep aggro is out, I walk back up. And now I just want to deny him as much as possible. Now, I don't walk up here. I probably could do a better job at pretending like I'm going to walk up. But when he's holding Q, intending to last hit a creep, if I walk up to stop him, his Q range is longer than my W range. So if I go and try to W him, he can always Q me. And if he Qs me, he's going to get a better trade at level 1 because he has Halo Blades. Even though I have Bone Plating, I only have one spell and I already used it. So it's not that good for me to do that. But I should probably do, if I was being more optimal, I would do a better job at very specifically trying to make him think I was going to do that. So again, I'm pushing as slowly as possible, and I want to try not to have to use any spells. I level E second because I think it's easier to... Well, I think that I would go Q if I was being really aggressively trying to poke this guy, but I think I have to actually respect Pyke. Q would actually do more damage because it resets on W, so you can get a lot of damage off. But E is a lot more respectful and safe, and it aligns with my strategy of I'm trying to deny him as much as possible. You'll see in a bit, there's a trade that happens and why E is quite useful. It also is, I can't miss anything. I can't miss my E. So right now, just always threatening him. Here I'm doing something before we look at the trade. Here I'm doing something. I learned this from Doublelift in like season 2. So out of my E range, I'm pressing E on him so that as soon as I get in range, my guy casts instantly. And I'm instantly clicking backwards to maximize my spacing. On lower ping, this is way more effective. But here, Pyke is going for the trade. And this trade with bone plating is not that good for him. If I didn't have bone plating, this would have looked a lot worse. But this is why I take bone plating in this lane, even though it was unintentional, because I thought it was against Wave. Now, this is actually a pretty scary moment. This is technically the time that Nocturne wants to gank, and I could get ganked here, and I don't have phase rush. So I do have to be somewhat careful, but Pyke just used his skills, so I don't have to be careful anymore. His skills are still going to be on CD. And I have a huge wave. And Nocturne doesn't really want to gank. So it's sort of a calculated risk not to ward before this point. Another thing is I pop my potion very early. Now, this is not always good. If the enemy has cut down or you have second wind, you shouldn't pop potions very early because you're losing value. But in this case, there's no cut down. I don't have second wind, so there's no reason not to press my potion early and stay full HP to be as prepared as possible for any sort of all-in that Pyke goes for. Now here, I'm doing this thing where I'm sort of just staring at him and I'm not actually using my skills. This looks like I did nothing, and you'll see that I go and ward right after. So once that happens, now I go ward. You might think, why don't I just ward instead of sort of staring at him and doing nothing? The reason is that there's a lot of invisible pressure that I'm putting on Pyke here. So I make him miss that creep instead of taking that Q. That's one thing. Now, always when I'm walking up here, I'm making Pyke think about, oh, am I going to go for a trade? And he's playing it pretty respectfully. When I walk up, he walks back. And then here, I'm scared because he's level 3. But all that pressure I did made him miss probably a couple of the CS that he would have gotten if I just ran fully. Because he would have just known that he was safe. So now I ward bot side because it's the safest side for me to ward. Because I don't know where he started technically. But I just ward bot side because it's close and it's safe. And the positioning of the lane makes it a lot easier. Here I go for a trade onto Pyke. I make sure that I get the cannon by autoing the creep, but I didn't actually have to do that. But I want to be very mana efficient, so I'm not trying to spam all my spells at once. Miss creep because I suck. So actually, I think I missed it. I think we're gonna see Nocturne on Vision with Ashy soon. I go for this trade. Yeah, okay, we see Nocturne on blue. So as soon as I see Nocturne on blue, I know that he's going to try to go for bot crab. And everyone's going to try to fight it, is usually how it works. So I have Prio, so I'm in a good spot. But Pyke goes for the creep to hit level 4. I just trade onto him. Here, Pyke is trying to contest Prio to fight for crab, but I dodge the Q. I dodge up in behind my creeps to make it harder for him. I dodge into my creep to make it hard for him, and I get the buffered Q because your skills can't get canceled by stun like autos will. So even though I was stunned, I still got my Q off. And I don't flash for him because he wouldn't die and people will flash away if you flash for them. And I don't want to trade flashes in this lane because I'm the one that's at risk of dying. Pyke is almost never at risk of dying, which is how the way that the champs interact. Now, the laning phase, the Lave wave state is very good for me because it's pushing to me slowly. So it's going to be very difficult for Pyke to last hit most of these creeps without using Q. So here, I don't know what he was going for. Okay. This is another small thing that happens. Malphite's beside me. So I'm not too scared, but I also don't want to get hooked. Here, I go for this ward in this bush because I know Nocturne crossed to go to top grab a couple seconds ago. I know Nocturne's top side. Now, where the crab is a complete flip on this entire top side. It could be right here, or it could be all the way near top lane. I have no idea. But when I see Pike making a beeline straight towards me, I get scared and I run away. And when I see that, I literally just full give up and run very far to the right. Now, I probably could run even a bit farther, but I want to run down to my tower. I don't want to run that far to the right, because I could technically get chased. So even though I know Nocturne's topside, I don't think I want to stand too far onto the right, because I want to be able to run to my tower. And the other reason I want to not go too far is exactly what happens here. So Pike looks for the E into Q. Here, there's a lot of ways this interaction can work out. The way it plays out is I show that I might go for an EW onto Pike. So he shoots his Q thinking that's what I'm going to do. But I end up only pressing E and then run behind the creeps to make it very hard for him to land it. He has a very short period of time to realize what I'm doing. So here, I press E and run under the creeps. I'll show that again. If I don't press E, I'm flipping that he's not going to land it around the creep. By pressing E, I make him think, oh, I'm going to press W on you. So he aims it where I would be, not where I'm going after I press E. This has the added benefit of getting an E stag on him, which doesn't matter unless he makes a mistake. And worst case scenario here, I have to burn flash. But even if I have to burn flash, Nocturne is wasting a lot of time by doing this. Now, Nocturne started topside, so he hasn't based yet because he had to cross. He probably isn't basing. So it means he's going to stay after this probably, or waste a lot of time. And then this is what I'm talking about, Pike making a mistake. He walks up too close. He goes to the creep, and I get another good trade onto him. Again, I'm not flashing forward because I don't want to trade. I want to keep my flash up as much as possible. And then the same thing where I'm just trying to die. The wave is pushing towards me. Here, I have to recognize that my mana is low. So I don't have a lot of mana. I can't be spamming all of my spells without having a lot of value from them. So in this case, I opt to just press E in an auto attack instead of going for a Q, because I think he's likely to press E or dodge it in some way. And if I waste too much mana, then I won't be able to threaten him anymore. Now, if you looked at his movement after he did this, he walks around this wall. This is a very common place to recall. So when I see this, I'm thinking, oh, he might be trying to recall. I want to make sure he's not. And then when I see him not recalling, I walk back. So we're still just slow pushing and trying my best to deny him as much as possible. Whenever he walks up, I walk at him, and I'm just praying that this creep dies, and it does. So W. Pike presses W. Now, I'll let this play out, but this was pretty weird, this entire sequence. So on this play, you might ask, why is it that when Pike W's, I don't run behind my creeps? Well, there's two reasons. One, Nami is bot side, and I have lots of vision bot side, so I know bot side's safe. Second reason is Nocturne either based after Crab or didn't base after Crab and did Krugs and Raptors. I don't know his exact path. I'm assuming it's Red Krugs Raptors. I actually don't know. But if he does Red Krugs Raptors, then he is going to be somewhere around here at this time in the game if he hasn't based yet. So if I walk to the left and Nocturne is here and is coming from, the very edge of the lane, then walking to the left could be pretty bad. So that's why I don't walk behind the creeps. Lulu being here, I didn't realize in the game. But I have my Nami here, and I have to flash this E because it's very possible I could die if I don't flash this E. Because I'm going to get stunned by Pike, and then I'm going to get Lulu polymorphed, and Lulu's going to use everything and land everything on me, and Pike's going to land Hail Blades. And I have Nami close, but not risking that for sure. Nami goes for the flash king. This is unlucky, but I end up trading flashes with Pike. So even though I have to burn flash, It ends up just being a trade. Now, the result of this is now I have no mana. I have to recall. In this case, I'm very confident Pyke is not going to cancel my base because of his conditions. So I can base instantly, essentially, after I leave vision. I can essentially base immediately after I leave vision, which is not always the case. Additionally, I want to recall as fast as I can because Pyke is going to take a long time to kill this wave. Also, when I'm pressing tab here, this is my moment in time where I'm looking at CS values and items of everybody. So I have my mouse over call, but I'm not specifically looking at call. I'm just looking at what items people have and what is the CS. So the main things I'm noticing about the game right now is, you know, AD's basically even. Top lane, we're a little behind, but I'm up a lot mid lane. So this is going really well for me. I'd say that this is a pretty good first base in this lane. It's probably above the expected value that you're supposed to get in this lane. Another thing is I'm thinking about my recall, and in this case, I have an amazing recall. I only can't buy a pink, but boots to dodge Pyke spells, Ruby Crystal, and tier and refillable is all amazing. It's an excellent usage of my gold. I know Pyke has to recall. He can't stay, so I'm hard shoving, and I'm just trying to recall, push this as much as possible. So I know I have free time as well. Bot lane, I actually forgot something. So another thing that's happening here is my jungler's opting to do dragon. Now, again, my jungler's APA, so this guy's actually good. He knows when to do things. I'm pretty sure he saw that Pyke had a terrible amount of HP and mana to fight with and knows that I'm way faster. So this is a very safe dragon take. I don't have to actually help, but in, you know, some fantasy world where the enemy team did try to fight this, I'm way faster than Pyke, because I can ult in after I get level 6 and I'll have 6 advantage. So after the Drake, which is good, it was a good time to get dragon. Now I have free time. This is the perfect time for me to ward. I have to remember that I don't have flash. I see top lane. Now, okay, this is actually something funny. When I look top here, I thought Renekton ultied, but he just had press Q. I don't realize this. I thought his ult like ran out or something. So I'm just staying off vision. And I don't know, the skin's a bit weird. When I see Pyke moving, that indicates to me, okay, I need to push mid and punish Pyke for roaming. The reason that I'm pushing mid instead of going top is that if I go top, I'm just opting into a 2v2. That is just a complete 50-50, right? Maybe we win, maybe we lose. I'm not sure. Some percentage of the time, we're going to lose it, though. If I just go mid, I know I'm going to get something because he's going to miss some XP and gold. Another thing is I'm staying off vision as best I can to try and make it as annoying as possible. Again, I thought Renekton had ultied, so I'm staying here longer than I would have normally, but that's because I thought Renekton ultied. When I see Pyke, then I ping Pyke so everyone knows, and then I back ping my Yorick and say, hey, Pyke's coming. Like, I'm just hoping that he knows what that means. And now I'm like pushing as hard as possible. I see Pyke moving back, so now I know I have free time. Then I walk back top lane, and this movement where I walked top made it really annoying for Renekton. Walk back mid, push the wave, force Pyke to go back mid under tower, and then walk back top is really annoying for Renekton, and he ends up making a mistake here. All ends. However, I also make a mistake by ulting too far away, and then I end up I can't capitalize on this. This is a good time, but I just don't have a ward here. Pyke is moving up through river, so I can't stay here and wait. I have to just fight him instantly. And I don't want to walk around this way, even if I think that's where he is, because he has vision of everything. So if I walk this way, he's just going to run out. I have to walk around and force him, and I force the issue and just pray that he makes a mistake. But his E comes back up, so it ends up being nothing, which is unfortunate, but it's still fine. Now, another thing that I notice here is, again, APA is a smart guy, especially about mid lane. So he knows that with what has happened in mid, Pyke has left and shown that he's top, and so APA actually gets some of this wave, and now it's slow pushing to me mid. It's just a small thing that I noticed in the game. However, I also noticed that, you know, he went Raptors after. He's completely trolling by doing this. He went for Raptors after, and Pyke just walks back down, and he doesn't recognize it. Also, Lulu, I think, is here really fast. Their Lulu did a really good job at roaming first compared to Nami this early game. But Malphite ends up dying. Another thing is Yorick recalls and just lets me get this wave. This is generally how if I roam to a lane as a mid laner, I'm taking over the lane, and you're supposed to base most of the time. Malphite dies here, but he doesn't use flash or ult, and also I just noticed he pinged himself, so he knows he's trolling, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. It happens. I crash this wave and then I press recall. I don't want to try to punish Renekton under tower because Nocturne's level 6. I have no flash. I can very easily die. Now we're talking about gold. What am I going to purchase? I can purchase either a ruby crystal or Ionians and a pink. And those are basically my two options. And I opt to do the Ionians and the pink because it costs more gold. Now this means I'm not going Mercs, which, you know, maybe comes back to bite me. But against Nocturne and Pyke, it would feel really bad to have to go Mercs, even though they have Hui and Lulu and a bunch of stuns. So I run back mid because I'm the mid laner. I want to be mid and affect both sides of the map. The Yorick ghouls are kind of annoying, but it's fine. Yorick walks back top. Yeah, this Yorick actually, I think, played pretty well this game. He might actually be good. So I actually make a mistake here. Nami was just mid, and Malphite is out of vision, but I have no flash, no ult on Rise, and I'm poking Pyke under the tower. If Nocturne ulted me, I was just dead. It was not even close. But they're actually respecting that I have people here. And this is probably some amount of aura. Probably some amount of respect given to me because I'm a good player, that they probably just think I'm not doing something this stupid. But it's going to be some combination of that, plus my Nami's was just mid, and my Malphite is not showing and has everything up. So, you know, everything combined, it was an int, but didn't get punished for it. And now I realize I'm really easy to kill with Nocturne ulti. Yes, so I stand very far back. And I wait. But Malphite also knows this, so he wants to push. Grubs have just spawned. So if we push this, we can go to Grubs afterwards. And that's exactly what we do. Yorick is also fighting top right now, which is correct. It's correct for Yorick to be fighting. I don't opt to full commit because I'm super slow. Instead, I opt to just stay mid. I don't want to help with Grubs because I want to put pressure on Pyke mid, even if I don't want to put pressure. I also want to potentially waste Nocturne and Pyke's time mid, because they might think I'm going to walk up, even though I don't want to walk up. So here, I'm trying to be very safe. You know, as soon as I see Nocturne, you see I'm going to see Nocturne running towards this ramp here. I know I have to be very safe because now I know for sure, for a fact, that he's in ult range. That EQ that I just did, this one right here, I'm going to show it again. This one right here, it is a bit risky to go for that, but it's also, you know, if I am inting there, it's really, really small. Like, it's really hard to tell that I'm inting there, but they're not ready to punish it. Maybe it was too much. But okay, when I see Nocturne, then I know for sure that I have to play very safe. Don't want to get Nocturne chain CC'd into Pyke hook, into Pyke E, into... I'm dead. I don't have enough tankness. So now I'm playing very safe. Here, I see Nocturne here. I have to make a decision here. And the decision I have to make is, am I going to walk around and contest red? Am I going to walk through ramp to, you know, fight here with Malphite coming? Do I just walk mid? Is bot lane going to get dove? I have to analyze what I think I have to do as fast as possible and all the pros and cons. It depends heavily on what my Malphite's doing, because I'm never going to walk down unless my Malphite's coming. So when I see my Malphite isn't coming, I just know, okay, I'm going mid, because Malphite's doing crap. So, okay, I can't go down. I just have to stay mid. Now here, again, I'm very at risk. As soon as I see Pyke W, I fucking run to Narnia, because I don't want to die. Even without W, he can still go onto me, so I don't walk up. I only walk up when I see him use Q. So use Q, and now I can walk up. Now I'm not scared. He has no W. I missed my Q because I'm a beast. Same thing. I still don't have flash. I have ult, so there's potential I can get away, but I don't have flash. My Malphite is near with me, and this is a big sequence right here. So I'll play it out once, but I'm only pushing because Malphite is close to me. And Malphite tells me to push because he wants to invade. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so it ends up being 1 for 2. What are the important aspects of this? Okay, so the first thing is... I forgot to mention it at some point, but Malphite is hovering me, and I can push because we think that we win 2v2. If they both go on me and Malphite is there, it's a winning 2v2. So it's implied every time that I walk up that I'm saying Malphite is here with ult. So I still feel safe to push even though I have Pike W under me. That's why I don't run away. It's why I'm not scared. However, Lulu again is roaming and I don't notice. And neither does Malphite. And Nami is not here. So Lulu is just completely smurfing right now. She's just always here. The way the actual fight plays out is really bad, but it's also because I still don't realize that Lulu is here. And I realized too late that Lulu is here. So here, I E the creeps because I'm still trying to push. But then when I see Lulu, I realize, oh shit, this is really bad. Because now it's 3v2, and it's not clear at all that we win. I mean, we don't win 3v2, not at this point. So I panic, and due to some ping, I use my Q backwards, and, you know, we just don't kill them. We land the Ash Arrow, so that's good. That was actually a blind Ash Arrow. What a fucking beast. What the hell? I just realized. Okay, anyways. But yeah. The main thing was Lulu was there. That's why I was losing.
There is kind of bad. We win 2v2, but...
And I didn't realize it fast enough.
Lulu was the difference there.
That I couldn't keep pushing. I had to save my spells to kill Pike. But my wave state is actually in a pretty good spot. Now, the next time I press tab, I'm going to pause. Again, whenever I'm pressing tab, I'm thinking about all of the lanes. I'm looking at all the CS. I'm looking at all the items. I'm trying to remember what people have. So, in each time, again, that I press tab, I always have a purpose. Here, I can't tell you exactly what I'm looking at. But I definitely do look at CS values. And, you know, AD and top are still equal in CS. Our bot laner died. Their top laner died. So I'd say the game is like pretty neutral from, you know, laning perspectives. They have some extra kills. But I'm also up a lot of CS mid. I was up about 20 CS on the first base, and now I'm up 36. So I'm doing a pretty good job at progressing my lead even further. So even though I died there, it's not the end of the world because I'm still progressing my lead. And my flash is now up, which means that I'm a lot safer. I'm not going to die to Nocturne just ulting me anytime now. I will survive. This lane is more the same. I'm still just trying to deny creeps. I can't walk past the creeps to try to deny him because, again, he's going to Q me. And if he Qs me like that, then I actually would die even through flash. Because I have to flash his E and then Nocturne can ult afterwards or flash preemptively. Anyways. I slow push, but then I decide to fast push. I decided a bit late, but I want to get a ward down and I want to hit this plant. Because I want to use my wards because I had 2. Additionally, it's important to note that in a 1v1 scenario, I am way stronger than Pike. It is not even close. Now there's going to be this fight around Dragon. So look at this fight. Now, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do this. But I'm just going to try my best to explain all of the key things I'm noticing when I'm doing a team fight and the decisions I'm making in this team fight. So Hui uses QE, so now Hui has no Q, and uses everything on Nami. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is actually a pretty good start because Nami is not really that important, and it's a lot of Hui's damage used and wasted on the Nami that we don't really care that much about. I have a good angle to root Pyke and start dealing some damage, so I take it. Pyke could Q me over the wall, but again, Hui just used all of his spells, so I'm not really that scared right now. Because Pyke was holding Q, I play to dodge it instead of using my Q afterwards. And on Rise, you don't have to instantly press Q after you get your root. I think I decide that instead of going for the Pyke, it's better if I go for the Nocturne. I've already kind of put Pyke out of the beginning part of this fight by pressing EW onto him. And now I want to hit Nocturne because that's who my Ashe is going to hit, who's down here. Ashe is at Dragon. Like, you know, exactly where my face is, basically. So Nocturne is the one that everyone's going to be hitting. So I want to make sure that Nocturne dies. So I'm hitting Nocturne instead. I dodge the Pyke E. Nami flashes the Pyke ult, which is really good. And now Pyke is just dead. And one last thing before I just play it out again is I dodge the Pyke E. And at some point, I realize, maybe at this point, let's say, just to make it simple, I realize this fight is for sure winning. So when I know it's for sure winning, I'm just running at them. I want to be on top of their faces and just keep fighting them. If I was really smart, I probably would have ulted on this Nocturne, but I didn't see that he was so low. Instead, I'm walking up. I want to go Hui. And I ult Hui, but Hui just cones away. So now, we'll look at this one more time. Hui uses all of his spells, so now he's kind of out of the fight. I root Pyke, but then go on Nocturne because Nocturne's a more important target. But then Pyke full commits and gets Ashe ulted and ends up going down. Now the fight's won, so I keep running at Lulu. Get another kill, but the Hui escapes. Now, the fight is winning. So now, immediately after a fight, there's a post-mortem I do every single time. I always try to click tab. I think about, okay, how are we allocating lanes? What is the neutral objective that we're supposed to be doing? Should we be doing the dragon right now? When am I going to base? I always want to base after a fight or after something significant happens. Even though my conditions are good, I have good health and good mana. I have a lot of gold and I want to get my Roa stacked and I want to get even stronger this game. So when I press tab here, I'm looking at the minimap. I'm looking at death timers. I'm thinking about TPs. Pyke should have TP because I have TP. I'm also thinking about lane allocation. So Hui, I know is going to be mid because he coned to mid after I ulted onto him. Now, the reason that I don't base right now is because Hui is mid lane. He's in the wrong spot. And I think I can cancel his base because I showed intent that I wasn't playing aggressively. But if I cancel his base, I'm wasting a lot of his time. So here, even though I take a tower shot, I don't care because I'm about to base. I can use my potions very liberally. And I hard shove this wave as fast as possible because I want to waste as much time as possible. Now, this is one of the problems that doesn't get talked about a lot, is if you do things inefficiently, sometimes it comes back to bite you. I inefficiently crash this wave into the tower. I don't do a good job at killing all the creeps. So because of that, I want to get this last creep, and then I end up having to burn flash and Nocturne ulti. Now, I actually should die here, but Nocturne misplays, so I don't die. Nocturne, if he holds W, I can't root him, and then he can fear me to the Pyke, and then Pyke can land E, and I would just die. But he doesn't do that. I end up just having to burn flash, so it's not the end of the world. I buy Roa, and I buy Sapphire Crystal just to take, you know, be as strong as possible. There's a decent argument that I should just go pink here. In a pro game, I probably would just get a pink, but in solo queue, I just want to be as strong as possible and get the Sapphire Crystal. So with how the last trade went on Pyke, which was a while ago, but it was that Pyke right before the dragon where I just completely destroyed him. I know that, you know, 1v1 is not even close now. Nocturne has no ulti, so I have no threat. So in this exact moment, I'm thinking no one wants to fight me. I am way stronger than everybody right now. I want to take any fight that I can. So as soon as I come back, I'm going to run straight at Pyke. and I want to just fight. Nami's here too. Beautiful. Play for the push. Now I have control. Now, Renekton died to Yorick and Malphite while I'm TPing back with the Malphite ulti. After that, Malphite is going for Krugs. He's just invading because he has numbers advantage. We also have 3 grubs, and Yorick is going to stay to try to take this tower. I see that, and I'm like, okay, I want to get vision in the top side. I'm telling my Nami, ward here, because I want to ward there. She doesn't ward there. She wards line instead. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal, even though the ward I pinged is better. This is where macro gets a bit strange, and this is where solo queue macro, a lot of it is, you know, problem solving, because Ashe shows intention to go mid here, which I don't think is correct, but I don't have enough time to tell her to not do this. Whenever I realize it, I think it's like too far gone, and I decide, you know, there is something useful I can do here. I can help take red and be really annoying and make sure that Malphite can get this red. So I opt to not call her off. And when I see Pyke press W and walk, now I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna go top. You see, I instantly press my F key to go see top. I'm thinking about, they could go on Yorick, but technically they could still go on us if Renekton has TP, for example, or whatever. So I'm a little bit worried, but it ends up being the case that they go for the Yorick. Now, Nocturne has no ulti. Yorick doesn't end up getting the tower. Oh, no, he does. Oh, man. Nocturne has no ulti. When I see them going for the Yorick, this makes the Ashe macro play actually very good. Because Ashe can't progress against Hui, bot lane 1v1, but she can hit tower when no one's there. So their team going for this top lane makes what Ashe doing correct. Now, I don't think they could have known that Ashe was doing that unless it was warded, but they're just trying to salvage the game state in some way. And here, we just come for the cleanup. I know Nocturne's dead, so I'm trying to... Actually, insane arrow again. What the fuck? I'm trying to get... I'm trying to walk as far right as possible to try and also root the Pyke. But he's too fast with Pyke W. Now, here's where things go a bit weird. So, again, I feel so strong right now in this game. And if you just, you know, if you just pause right here, it's hard to believe that we lose this fight. But we do. This is a completely lost fight. They get Renekton Q and a Lulu ulti on Renekton. I missed space because Renekton's fucking giant because of Lulu ulti and its fucking thing. I landed literally every spell there and we didn't kill Renekton. Usually you miss some spells on Rise, but yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I would be mind blown. I mean, I was mind blown in the game after that. I was like, wow, how did we lose? I literally landed every single skill, but yeah, I mean, Nami damage isn't that high. Lulu has lots of healing or shielding, and her ult technically not healing. But okay, again, I'm spamming tab. At some point I recenter myself. I'm gonna try to pause. Oh my god. I'm gonna pause and take stock of the situation. So after that fight, I'm looking at items. I see that my Yorick doesn't have his full build yet. He's got lots of armor for the top side that the enemy team has, so he's very strong against that. Malphite almost has his second item. Ashe doesn't have her item yet, but will soon. Has Cull popped soon. Hui is going Seraphs. Pyke is probably going to have his item completed after that fight. Nocturne has Stridebreaker. Renekton has Cleaver. I'm just thinking about all this. I'm also looking at CS. CS across the board is equal except mid where I'm up 60. So again, everything has happened. I've gained even more of a CS lead mid lane. So, you know, it was 36 before. Now it's 60 flat. So in a very good spot. Even though things are not going, you know, as we would have planned, I'm still very strong, and Pyke is a lot weaker than me. Where do I go when I'm leaving base? Well, Yorick is bot and Ashe is mid, so I know I'm going top. There is no other option. The only reason I would not go top here is if I had TP up and Yorick needed to base, I could go bot and tell York to base. So here, I'm walking top, but I did see Renekton top, but I know he needs to base. Pyke is showing mid. Ashe has to blow flash, which sucks. But the way Pyke is going to play, obviously, he can't play against the Yorick that, you know, heals off him and has fucking 200 armor. So that's, you know, Pyke is not winning in that lane. Pyke also isn't winning against me, though. He can kill me, but he's not winning. He needs to kill me. Otherwise, he's going to do the thing he's been doing the whole game, which is, you know, staring at me from 700 range very menacingly and pressing Q to last hit 1 creep wave. So Pyke is kind of fucked no matter where he goes. What that means, and the reason that's important, is if Pyke was way better against me or Yorick, like if Pyke had a winning matchup against Yorick, then I would be pretty sure that I would play against Renekton soon. But because he loses to both, the fact that he's mid lane means he can go to either side equally quickly. Renekton based and could be going bot or top. So again, I don't know where the lanes are yet. I really want to know because I can change the way I'm going to play. If I know Pyke is supposed to be top, and I knew for sure Renekton was going bot, I can play with more information topside. But because I'm not 100% sure, I don't think it's safe for me to just go things aggressively. I see that the blue is up, but I think it's a long time to waste. So that was all with the intention, by the way, of I'm assuming Hui is going mid. But Hui actually doesn't end up going mid, which I don't think I realized in the game, because very soon after this, the Pyke shows up mid again and gets a kill into Ashe. So I'm not playing ultra aggressively. If I knew nobody was top, I would have just kept pushing, but I don't know for sure that nobody is top. So instead, I'm going off vision. I'm sweeping this bush to see what's happening. And when I see that this fight is happening mid, I'm walking over. I want to ult in. I don't want to ult before the Nocturne ult is out, because there are so many ways this fight could play out. They could be, you know, up here. They could be going down. They could be where my screen is centered. They could be over here. I have literally no idea. I don't want to press my ult right here and then see that they're walking up. So I'm essentially going to wait until I see where they are. And then when I see the Nocturne is super overextended, I instantly press ult. Cut him off. Walk against the wall to make it impossible for him to dodge. Ashe lived, which is really good. I don't know how she did. She must use everything. Yorick sees Renekton top and decides to go top. But this is really weird because Maiden is going bot. So this macro play is another way. Like I've actually never seen this before. This was so weird to me. I would normally go bot lane here, but the Maiden is there. So I'm thinking, okay, if the Maiden is bot and gonna push by itself, I guess I just stay topside? Question mark. I'm actually quite confused in the game here, but I'm like, okay, Ashe isn't here yet, so I'll just take this wave. Another thing is, while I'm being confused, I see Pyke here, and I see Nami walk into this bush, and I'm like, no, Pyke is here. But I should have backpinged her, because I don't think she realized that I was pinging Pyke. But yeah, I mean, she can't walk this way. She just dies, and I knew this was going to happen. That's just how it is. I try to trade back, but yeah, it's just a complete open. Dodge the Q that Hui was shooting. So, okay, Nami dies. Kind of unlucky. I see Pyke recalling, so I go to cancel his recall. And then this Q from Pyke, when you get canceled by somebody psychologically, and you're playing a champion like Pyke, you shoot the Q at them unless you have a reason not to. Ashe got the Q shot at her, not me, but I canceled her, which means there must be a ward here. I don't know exactly where. I just know there is a ward here. I sweep this ward. And this is where I just have no idea what the fuck I'm supposed to do. So I just start hitting Herald. You know, like the Maiden is bot. My Nami just died. If I saw like them all immediately come to try to kill me, I obviously would just leave. But I'm just thinking, you know what? I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I try to dodge the Herald charge, but I suck and miss. I hit the Herald in the back. This is just me being like, okay, if I'm going to be here, I might as well be useful. So I actually just start hitting Herald. This ends up being really fucking smart because we kill it just fast enough that there's no chance for a 50-50. And Nocturne goes over the wall and ends up having to flash. So this ends up being really good. But yeah, I mean, the only reason I did this is because of the Maiden Beam bot lane. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done this. My gold is pretty good here. I get Lost Chapter, so now I'm pretty happy. And I instantly TP bot because the wave's under the tower. If I don't TP bot, then I'm going to miss this wave, the next wave, and part of the next wave as well. It's a lot of gold to miss. I also swapped back to yellow trinket. I had blue trinket because I had red trinket for a while. Because I want to clear vision, but now I don't trust my supports in solo queue nowadays to place vision for me. And especially in this game, I literally told Nami where to ping and she didn't told Nami where to war with the ping and she didn't ping there. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go vision for myself. I'm not gonna get a red trinket. I need more vision for myself. So that's why I go yellow trinket. Yorick ends up going down to the Nocturne and the Renekton. Now is where I'm gonna start counting numbers. So I see 2 top, I see 2 mid. I'm not 100% sure where Pyke is. Again, I beat Pyke 1v1. But Pyke can still try to do something, and maybe there's some thing with like a TP ward or whatever, or like, you know, something like that. So if Pyke is here, you know, I don't want to just assume for sure that the zone here, because TP is always a thing. But at some point, I'm thinking maybe Pyke is mid, because I don't see him. I would expect to have seen him by now. And because I'm not paying attention to the minimap, I don't see that he's mid. I should just know he's mid, but I don't see him yet. At some point, I think I noticed that he's mid. And we start dying mid. So I think I missed when I saw that he was mid. I definitely see him at some point. Anyways, we're doing something mid. We also heralded mid, which I didn't think was good in the game, but actually in hindsight, it probably was correct because it's against Hwei. We can't hit the tower. So we get 2 towers for Nocturne going top. So in a macro sense, what they did was not very good. They got a kill and lost 2 towers for it. But we overextend mid lane. And when Nocturne ulti comes in, I'm thinking, okay, I can salvage this. It's 3v4, but I'm really strong. And then I see Renekton and I go, oh shit, I'm running. As soon as I see Renekton. I think, should I press EW to save my Nami? Should I get Phase Rush to run? I just think, nah, I'm going to fucking leave. I'm worried they're going to go on me, but then I see Pyke E, Renekton flash in. So I just think, okay, I'm going to go for... I see Renekton go in, and I flash over. Make sure Renekton dies here. Nami steals my kill, and then I go forward, but I'm losing track of where Hwei was, and then I just get chain CC'd. This is why Mercs would have been nice, because if I had Mercs there, I wouldn't have died. I would have killed all of them, but... Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other situations where Ionian, like, you know... That's why Mercs would be good. And that's what I'm thinking about in the game. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I had Mercs. But I think I was correct for me to go Ionians this game. Another thing is Nocturne this whole time was doing the Drake. We had 2 dragons now, so we're going to lose our 3rd dragon, which kind of sucks. It is what it is. Yorick is trying to get kills. I'm just like cheering him on mentally. You know, being a real team player. But okay, now at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's reset. Let's start pressing tab and thinking about stuff. Again, whenever I press tab, I'm usually looking at something specific. And that has, it's going to be some combination of I'm looking at items, I'm looking at trinkets, I'm looking at ultimates, I'm looking at death timers, I'm looking at CS. So CS, you know, it's all the same. I'm, again, still building my lead. So I'm doing a good job of keep getting CS. But this is pretty normal for Pyke. This is not to say that Dave Bond is playing bad or poorly at this point. He's doing a great job, you know, still being useful, considering how useless he should be. But that is all, you know, all of that stuff is what I think about. And when I'm pressing tab, I'm usually looking for some specific thing. I also think about the fight, the way the fight plays out. Okay, it wasn't how I want to do. I have to be careful not to, you know, get killed by Hwei. Essentially, Hwei is probably the most annoying person for me because I really want Mercs against Hwei, but I don't have Mercs. It's simple as that. The reason I go top is because Yorick is bot lane. I'm never taking mid because I'm mid laner and I want my Ashe to be safe. I see Pike bot question mark. I don't know if I actually did, but at some point I do. I probably when I clicked that, I saw Pike bot lane. And I know I'm supposed to hard shove top. The side laners are always the solo laners. That's how almost all macro works in League of Legends. So here, I hard shove top. I walk in. And I'm going to hit this tower for a bit. Ashe makes a move. I actually don't see this in the game yet. But Ashe makes a move. I'm trying to make sure that Pike doesn't do anything. And then APA is like, fucking push the wave. I'm like, sorry. But Ashe being here means we're just going to start sieging this. So this is actually a pretty good time to siege. But I don't actually realize this yet. I realize it right now when I see Ashe here. I'm like, oh, this is actually good. This is like a good macro play. My positioning here is very intentional. I, with Seraphs up, am very strong. I have spiked really hard right now. I'm probably the strongest in the entire game. I stand right behind a creep. Pike can still hook me from, the right side from under tower, but he can't do it for vert. He can do a super charge up one because then I can move to make sure that my hitbox is not poking out. And the reason I want to stand this far up is I want to root Pike as he looks for anything, if he does look for anything. I don't realize that Malphite is going to do this, but it ends up just being fine because we just get the kill into Pike and do this. I see Nocturne ulti, so I ult trying to save my Ashe. I think Ashe is supposed to take it, but she doesn't. I end up taking it instead. I probably shouldn't have taken it. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think in my head, what I did was correct here. I use all my spells on Pike. When I see Nocturne ulti, I press R to try and save my team. I still want to fight, but yeah, I'm not really sure. In my head, I'm thinking about this after the fact. I'm thinking about it. Was that good? Was that bad? I'm not really sure. At this point, I want to get this next wave before I base because it's really good for tempo. So I'm out of vision here, but I walk back in to get the wave. I also was doing a little bit of a cheese thing. Like I'm just hoping. I see Lulu maybe walk to me, and then she doesn't walk to me. But I'm just hoping that she's going to int. She doesn't end up inting. So nothing happens. I'm just going to recall in this bush. And then I see Lulu walking. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's not happening. You get the flash. You flash. We get this wave. And then we recall. Yorick killed the Renekton again. So, good job, Yorick. Okay. I'm spamming tab. You already know. The feats upgrade are completely broken. You already know what I'm doing when I'm pressing tab. Looking at CS. CS, in the other lanes, there's small changes, but nothing crazy. Mid lane is still increasing. Like Pike hasn't farmed a single creep in like 5 years. While I've been still farming. So I'm very strong. I'm going for Seekers, obviously, as it's really good this game. Not obviously. I'm going for Seekers. I talked at the beginning of the game that Seekers was that I'm going to build, so I don't need to think about it at this point. It's why I do that on a lot of these champions. And Otacon is up. Both myself and Yorick are good at split pushing. Yorick does need to base, but because I'm so strong and better in a team fight than Yorick is, I think it makes sense for me to be top. Yorick is also a good split pusher. Probably better. Definitely. It depends. They're different split pushers, but Yorick being on side is very good. So I think it just makes sense for me to go top here because I want to be in the fight, and Yorick is, not clearly worse than me at split pushing. And probably just straight up better because he has so much armor. So therefore I'm going top again. I'm not going mid. I have a very good vision already set up, which isn't normal, but it's important to know.
I need stopwatch, and then I'll be really strong in the fights. But until I have stopwatch, I'm very susceptible to being killed.
APA tells me to do blue. This means that he doesn't have time to do this. He wants me to kill it fast. So I just do blue. At this point, there's a lot less thinking and a lot more watching the map to see where people are. So I saw Lulu there. Ashe is going top here. This is actually very common. This is the standard Otacon setup. Is put 4 in the Otacon lane and then 1 mid lane. Ash eventually goes back bot because that's just not the macro play we're doing. But I understand for sure what Ash is doing here. And Ash is helping Nami get some vision. I'm pushing top. We're all sort of, both teams are getting ready for this Otacon fight that's about to happen. Now, where do I move after this top wave? Now, I can't push the lane deep, even though I hard shit on Pyke 1v1, because Nocturne is so much of a threat and no one on my team is nearby. So I can't do that. I have great vision, so there's no reason for me to place wards. So instead, I see Lulu is trying to get vision of River here, and that's where I'm going. I'm like, okay, maybe this Lulu's going to int. She doesn't have anything. We see Nocturne, so now I have a lot more information. Pyke is actually denying me top here, which is, you know, probably good. I don't know. It's like 3 melee creeps. It's really not the end of the world. But because he's denying me, he doesn't have time to get a ward on this bush, and he doesn't see us walk in, I think, or maybe he does. I'm not really sure. Point is, we're trying to tease him. We're hoping that he doesn't see us. And when he doesn't instantly walk in, I'm thinking, oh, he probably saw us. I'm going to get this wave and then leave. When I see Nocturne ulti, I'm thinking, oh, is this on me? I need to be careful. So I walk back into the bush, because if it was on Malphite or Nami, then we would know, because we're all together. So now we're prepared if it's on me, Malphite, or Nami. Unfortunately, it's on Ashe. But fortunately, Pyke decides to just die by face checking instantly, and I instantly ult as soon as I see the help me ping. I press my Rise ult after killing Pyke. We kill Pyke, and I see the ping, and I instantly ult. I don't even wait for it. But they get away. So it ends up just being a 1-for-1. I see Pyke using his QE, so I run away directly opposite to from the Hui. When I see the QE, I run, you know, as far away from the Hui as possible to not get hit by anything. And now this is where things get very complicated. So in this situation, you'll see we eventually start pinging top. Now, why do we do that? Well, the reason is, what are our options right now? We can either go top, we can go mid, we can start Otacon. Those are really the only reasonable things we can do. There's not really anything else that we can do. A subsection of that is go into their jungle, but we're going to have to do one of those 3 things to do the walk into their jungle strategy. Renekton's also here. I don't realize in the game that he TP'd, but I'm pretty sure he TP'd here. So why do we not go mid? Well, to go mid, we'd have to run through them. So that seems hard to do against Hui. We don't have Malphite ulti. I have no flash. Actually, my flash is coming up, but you know, I'm not very good at going on them. I don't really want to flash in. Nocturne has no ult too, but it's just Hui is going to be so annoying here. We don't want to run through Hui. Do we want to start Otacon? Well, same reason with Hui. Hui is going to make it really hard for us to do Otacon here. So that basically leaves, okay, if we run top, no one's going to be there. And they don't really have good engage either, because Nocturne ult's down and Pyke's dead, which is their entire engage. So that makes, we should go top. AP and I both realized that we should go top. He realizes it faster than I am because he's a better player than me. So we realize we should go top. But then as soon as this happens, the entire plan changes. Renekton just blast goes in, so we're just going to kill this guy, you know? This is just craziness. He barely lives. He has to use his ulti. After this happens, I'm thinking, you can see I'm showing intent after this Renekton play of walking all the way around, but I end up not doing that. The reason I don't do that is I think it's just a bit too unlikely to work. I do have flash, but I definitely could get chain CC to death with no mercs, and I don't really have any vision of where they are, so I'm a bit face checking blind. So it's a bit scary. I opt not to go for it. Instead, I could go for the wave, and initially I'm thinking I'm going to go for the wave. And in fact, I do go for the wave. Got that. I just get the wave, Nami actually kills Renekton, which probably doesn't matter because I don't think he has TP, but, you know, it is important to note that Renekton based and Nami killed him. We end up doing the Otacon here, which is correct. We should be doing the Otacon. The reason that now doing the Otacon is good is now it's essentially just a 4v3. And in an ideal scenario, I would have ran all the way around to collapse on them. But I don't think I have enough time to do that, and I don't think I should TP behind them. That's a bit too much. Instead, I just try to find an angle to go on them here. So at some point in this trade, I'm trying to bait spells out. I got Hui EW. We push out Nocturne. I'm thinking, okay, can we just finish this? And we did a lot of damage in 2 seconds here. So I'm thinking, oh, we should just fucking one-shot this. Look how far Nocturne is. So I just used literally everything, and then no one else on my team hits it. So this was really suspicious. This is why having no comm was a bit sus. Because look how fast we do a lot of damage. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, let's just go. But they both just turn. And we leave it at 1400 health. Nocturne thinks it's a goes for the Smite Steal, misses it because we just randomly stopped at 1400. This was a complete 50-50. I think it shouldn't have been a 50-50 if we all hit it, but whatever. I mean, probably what I'm doing is unnecessarily risky. I don't know. It's more, we just have to all do the same thing. And in solo queue, okay, I don't have to justify it. It's just a 50-50. I go for that. The reason I go is because I think we have enough damage. Nocturne flashes in, Lulu ulti, but the Lulu ulti duration, I don't realize why this happens, but the Lulu ult knock-up duration gets cut short by Hui E. So we get pushed onto the ground really fast. But because of the way that this fight goes, they just land so many spells. We also didn't keep track of Pyke spawning and TP. So Pyke is TPing here, and no one saw it or pinged it. So even though it is a 4v3, we killed another person, but it's still a 4v3, and now Pyke's here full HP. And now it's just a run. We have to leave. I flashed the Hui spells because I'm pretty sure that this little circle indicator is indicating that if I get hit by another spell, I'm going to have the passive. Oh, no, that's not what it is. Whatever. I mean, I just didn't want to take damage. Now, Pyke doing this is craziness. He just didn't realize I had Seraph Substill. But at this point, I'm thinking about the postmortem, like, what the hell's Pyke doing? He flashes for it. I don't even register that he flashes for it because it made no sense what he just did to me. I pinged that I have TP, and I typed that I can TP if Ashe wants to look, because it looked like she was potentially looking for a little Hui Lulu fight, but she doesn't. Instead, there's no TP. Now, this is not like the other times that I've recalled. We're on a timer right now. Pyke is dead for 27 seconds. My whole team is dead for 20 about. Nocturne has 10 seconds on his death timer. So, the next couple of seconds, 30 seconds or so, is going to greatly impact how this dragon fight is going to go. Because dragon is just spawning. Before we talk about the map play, though, I need to talk about how my base sucked balls. I got Seekers, but I have to float 1,000 gold. Although I probably shouldn't have floated 1,000 gold. I should have just bought a needless instead of a pink. I should have sold my D rank for the gold for it. I opt to TP bot, and the reason that I opt to TP bot is that I'm thinking that maybe we can rush it. And Ash even says we should rush it, but I decide that I think rushing it is bad. The reason that I think it's bad is Nocturne is going to get here so quickly, and I just think Nocturne's going to get here in time, essentially. My intuition tells me Nocturne's going to get here in time, so instead I opt to just get vision. I ward their jungle, and I'm going to try and trap Renekton. So this is a nice ward. I pop this plant because it's more useful for them, probably. And now we're going to sit in this bush and camp and pray that Renekton walks in. Please. We see the vision cone. We try to dodge it, and it sees us, so we run away. Lows, we tried, but we wasted their time. Ashe wasted the plant in the wrong direction. Probably just a misclick. I think about maybe I should flank, but I decide against it because they have Nocturne Pyke, and mostly just they have Nocturne. I'm like, actually, I don't want to do that. Then Nocturne ultis. So all of the plans about how things should play out are completely thrown out the window. It's just, okay, what the hell am I doing? What's happening? I'm pretty sure I should walk this way every time. So that's what I do. I see the Nocturne Q, so I know he's going on Ashe. When I see this, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna root Nocturne. Okay, Nocturne's out. So now what the hell do? I try to run to Nocturne, and then I decide, all right, I see Renekton, so I think, oh, maybe I'll go over here. I hit somebody. It's kind of a weird fight. But let's look at this. Let's look at this again, just to try to catch every little detail. So, Nocturne goes on Ashe. I can't reasonably chase farther. If I try to keep chasing, I'm not sure that something's going to be useful. Instead, I walk this way to maybe cut off the Nocturne going up this way. I see Renekton, so I'm like, oh, maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know who's in this bush. Also important to note is that I have Zhonya's, so I feel pretty safe a lot of this. If they randomly are 5 people hitting me, I can always press Zhonya's and buy some time. So it is possible that, you know, Hui, Pike, and Renekton are all in this bush, and I'm face checking this guy, and it's crazy. But it's very unlikely, because they're probably going to do something to help Nocturne or kill somebody. So I walk here, I see Hui, I see Yorick, I hit somebody, but it's not Renekton. But I see Lulu leaving, so I'm like, I'm just going to still walk forward. Renekton goes on me, but I still have a lot of HP. Renekton is very tanky, and we landed Malphite ulti onto the Pike, and then landed Nami Bubble. So Pike just gets 100 zeroed. And when Pike gets 100 zeroed, Nocturne is dead here. But in my head, I don't know if I had noticed that Nocturne was dead. I just noticed that our whole team is here. So Nocturne either lived or he's out of the fight is what I'm thinking probably. Or I saw it. I really don't remember. But this Renekton is just not going to die very quickly. But Pike got Malphite ulted and then Nami ulted. So I prioritize damage onto the person who's going to die in the CC. And then I turn on the Renekton, and we're all going to hit Renekton. And I ult in to make sure he dies. And beautiful. I try and EQ him through the dragon. It doesn't work. We have to... Oh, no, we have just landed there. So, not that bad. At this point, the game is pretty much won in my head. After the team fight, I'm thinking about the team fight. Whenever I press tab, I'm thinking about CS, items, flashes, sums, death timers, all these various things. Specifically right now, the main things I'm looking at are how much gold I have, what I'm going to buy on base, and their death timers, and where the people are on the map. There's only 2 people on their team alive. I see Hui and Lulu mid, so I know that I'm free bot lane. When I see them both mid, I'm pretty sure I can get bot tier 2, because it's pretty low, and we have 3 grubs. So in this case, I can get bot tier 2, and this is going to make me have a lot of gold and be very strong. And I have it just enough for 2 needlesses, so my recall is amazing.
Pepper back shot. This is somebody too. It's not a complete random. I forget who it is.
Now we're leaving the base again. I don't get Zhonya's because you don't need to get Zhonya's if you still have Seekers active available. I'm looking at everybody's items. And important thing here is my team stayed on the map to get the top tier 2, so I'm way faster than them. If any camps were up, I would probably be doing them. Gromp's a bit far. And my Malphite is leaving base also. So Malphite could, if he wants to get that. But the next thing we're playing for is Baron. Yorick's TP is up before mine, so I will be going top lane. If I had TP, I would probably be running straight. Probably not straight bot. I'd probably go bot after mid. But I don't have TP. Yorick does have TP. So in this case, I'm going to be going top after mid. The wave ends up just dying, so I just don't do anything. I see Nocturne looking. We're pinging Nocturne. I want us to base here because we got so much gold. We killed them in our jungle, I think without anyone dying, and then got every tier 2 on the map without recalling. So everyone on my team has a ton of gold. So I click this cone, trying to scare the Nocturne from leaving. He decides not to leave and baits his way into getting hit by a Yorick W, which then lets him get slowed enough for my root. Nocturne tries to salvage this play and goes onto the Nami, but I am right beside Nami, so I kind of defend her. Nami also flashes away. I'm holding my W to get a root onto the Nocturne. Same mentality where I know that this guy is dead. I don't need to get maximum damage. Although probably in hindsight, I should have used Q and E again. I don't know why I don't. Like, I should definitely do that. But I probably just thought he was for sure dead, and I just didn't realize that the freaking Mega Cone was there. Then, because this bush is pinked, whoever placed that pink was really smart. Because this bush is pinked, Pyke does not see that I'm in this bush, even though I have the Nocturne Q on me, so he's completely trolling. But Pyke doesn't see I'm in this bush. I'm looking for a play on Pyke. Pyke goes for the Nami, and we just kill Pyke. He kills Nami, but it's a worth trade. Sorry, Nami. And now we get Nash. Nash is completely free. They have no jungler. They have no Fed member, the Hui. They have no Pyke, the person who can engage. So the Renekton and Lulu can't do shit here. I ping York telling him to leave, but it's actually bad because York still has a base. He probably has like 3k gold. I'm actually curious. I want to see what he buys. I actually don't know.
Which doctor I think York is.
Let's see.
The War Doctor.
I see that I have Death Cap, obviously. I just want to see what his gold is. Okay, he didn't even buy that much. What the fuck? Okay, anyways. Oh, because he based in TV. Whatever. I'm just going to ignore it. Anyways, now in the game, what I'm thinking about is how are we going to use Baron? The most common and normal way to use Baron is you put 4 people mid, your safest person on side, and then swap the 2 once you have the lanes pushed. Because it's safer for the AD carry to be on the side lane and siege that way. However, Hui makes sieging basically impossible. Like, I don't think Ashe is ever hitting tower in front of Hui. So that's not very likely. So in that case, I'm thinking about alternatives. Ryze and York are both fine alone, but it is still pretty scary against Nocturne to do 3 lanes. Any of the lanes could get engaged on. So probably the way that this is going to work out is the 4 people are just there to make sure that Hui has to be there, and then the person on their own is the one that's going to be trying to take the towers. Or there's going to be some Ryze ult shenanigans. That thought process is what I'm in the process of working out in my head at the time. Who is alone, I'm not sure about. Because Yorick is harder to kill.
I flash in 50
on side lane. He goes bot lane because
alone,
he's a lot safer.
I also could die.
I don't have flash. I do have stopwatch, but
I'm alone, split pushing.
Yorick is a lot tankier and survives. So he goes bot. I'm going to take over mid. Ashe is pretty late. She was waiting for an item, I think. Oh, Yorick has a lot of gold. Okay, whatever. I'm just waiting for Ashe here. I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just looking at the map. I see Nocturne is top, which is a bit strange. But then I see that they're looking for Yorick. And when I see they're looking for Yorick, I'm like, oh shit, we can defend this guy. I'm looking to ult my Nami in with me. And if you look at my screen, I see Nami here. I'm like, oh, if she just ran at me, she would have been there in time, but I did it too early. So I'm kind of trolling because I didn't wait for Nami. But it actually is fine because we still end up killing Hui. Yorick dies. If we didn't kill anyone, this would have been really bad because we probably would have killed Hui if Nami was here. For sure, even if Hui landed the E. But okay, it doesn't matter because Hui just ends up going down. Yorick does enough damage to Renekton that he's pretty low and ends up going down. We chase Lulu. I run up. I start with W because I'm never going to land an EW on her if she has flash. If she doesn't have flash, then my WEQ is going to kill her. So here I press W. She has to flash, but ends up still going down. Walk past the creep to kill her. So now basically everyone on their team is dead. Ashe walked alone and made a mistake here. She just gets caught. That sucks. She should have ran to us instead of running away from us. Happens. But I'm like, okay, I'm not chasing them. They're just gonna keep running away. I'm gonna get this inhib. And in the process of taking this inhibitor tower, I'm thinking, hey, actually, you know what? We could probably end because Nocturne is getting chased by Malphite. Let me show that again. You look over here. Malphite is getting chased by Nocturne. Pike also is just recalling, but he can't do anything yet anyway. So right now, we have 20 seconds where it's me and Nami versus Pike with no mercs. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just end. He cannot do anything. If he walks into range of me, he's just going to die, basically 100 to 0. So he just presses W, and I just hit the tower. And the creeps kind of creep block me here a little bit. It's kind of unlucky. And then I have to... Izania's at a really bad time. This is actually really bad team fighting by me. I'm trying to just hit. I should have moved so that I could dodge the Pike hook. Pike, I don't see him because he's on the fucking train. So Pike, just look at this train. I like don't see him when he's holding his Q because the way my screen is looking. I probably should... I don't know why my screen's here, to be honest. I think... I don't know why it's here. I mean, I think it's just I'm not sure where Pike is going to come from, but yeah, I mean, I just don't see the Pike in front of me holding Q because he's on the fucking train. So I get Q'd and then I panic and I'm like, oh shit. And then I press Zanya's, but it's probably a bad Zanya's. I'm CC'd out anyways. Hui misses all of his spells, so it ends up not being that bad. And then the Nexus just isn't tanky enough to survive. And one last thing is this could have been really bad if we didn't have enough damage to end here, because Izania's right as Nocturne E went on me, and then I get feared, and tethers still work through Zanya's. So I'm feared out of it, and I could have gotten full CC'd and potentially died. I do have Zanya's, but it was a very suspicious angle. And fortunately, Hui is not ready to capitalize on it. He goes QE, which is not the correct one. And then we one-shot Nocturne because he went in. And now I just hit the Nexus. And Hui goes for a play. I run away again from Hui because that is the easiest way to dodge his spells. All of his spells are like lines. The farther you are away from him, the easier it is to dodge his spells. So I run away. And while it doesn't end up mattering, I do dodge all of his spells. And then at that moment, the Nexus explodes. Simple. I bet APA is so happy you got mid instead of him. You think so?